8:33 on Sunday, the 3rd of November 2024, and I have still not been released from this horrific place where I've been detained, which they call a mental health unit, i.e. I am locked up in a psychiatric hospital against my will for no good reason, where I am being tormented by staff and patients, including a very patronising staff member who about 5 minutes ago opened the door with the bright light and in a jokey way whispered, "Good morning." They know I'm not well physically. I'm not receiving any adequate support for my physical health. They certainly know I'm not well psychologically, which has been made 1,000 times worse since being put in here. My voice is still manly and hoarse because I'm not receiving the correct treatment for whatever this either virus or, I don't know, vocal issue has become. I have been crying and shouting a lot, so that might be the reason. But also I'm in a building with lots of strangers who don't necessarily have the best hygiene practices. So it could be a virus. I don't know. I also don't have a sense of smell, so I don't know if it's that or something else. But as you could just see then, every few minutes they come and peek on me like I'm some animal. Not even in a shelter, in some sort of torture chamber. If they were actually looking after me, it's a different matter. But they're not. I'm wrongly and horrifically detained in a mental health hospital. I don't know how else to describe it. It's literally called... No, actually, I'm not going to... It's literally a ward on a hospital. It's literally a ward on a psychiatric hospital. Whoever's made this happen is going to pay, believe me. Because I know to them it's hilarious. And I know I'm not making a lot of sense right now, and I'm not speaking in a very intellectual way, but if you were trapped in my position, you would be just as distressed, and I don't think your manner of speaking would be the best either. There are staff here who do not know me, who do not care about me, who do not understand me. There are patients here who certainly do not know, understand or care about me. I do not have any contact with the outside world. They keep calling me Aisha, even though they know that's not my name, but because I'm an ethnic minority who can't change my features, they think it's funny to just keep on calling me that, even though I've politely and assertively and repetitively corrected them. I'm naming them by their correct names that are on their badges. Can't they reciprocate? But I'm not well. Of course I'm not well, because I'm trapped and wrongly detained in a psychiatric hospital where I'm not allowed outside, where you have to eat the food they give you, where I don't have access to charging cables for my devices, where even the device I'm using currently, they've kind of like they've made me beg to obtain, even though I've paid 300 and something pounds for it. I can't apply for jobs and plan for a future from here because I don't know when I'm going to be allowed out. And if I were to put an address on a CV, on a cover letter, do you really think somebody's going to hire me if I put on a CV letter, on a cover letter, that I am in a psychiatric hospital? No. I'm trying to be as optimistic, grateful, and even humorous as possible, but I can't. I do not want to be here. I do not want to be alive, and I definitely do not want to be in this hospital. There are horrible, verbally and physically and psychologically aggressive staff members here. I should not be here. My voice is going worse by the day. I don't know what they're putting in the medications they pretend to be giving me, but they're either placebos or medications designed to make me worse. Again, I don't have a sense of smell. I can't establish that I'm not being fairly informed on what I'm actually being given. They're saying things like promethazone, lorazepam. They've not told me what the cough syrup was called. I think it began with C. There were no lozenges. My throat is still very sore. My voice is still very hoarse. I'm not coping. And even though I got into bed after about 2:30 a.m, they still tormented me by opening and closing, and which is still open, those blind things on the window, by opening the door and closing it loudly, by knocking, by flashing a light into my eyes, by uncovering the covers. I mean, why? They don't care either way, so why are they doing this to me? I've been here now almost a week. I don't see a way out. Quite literally. My stomach is hurting. My chest is hurting. My head is hurting. My throat is hurting. In fact, everything is hurting, including where I've been physically attacked and restrained in my arms. I'm not receiving any adequate painkillers or therapy or support or provisions to help me cope and get out of here. They have let me speak to a solicitor very briefly in the office, but what she will do to help, I don't know. The tribunal is next week, or this week if you want to count Sunday as the beginning of the week. I'm by no means a lazy person, but I do not want to and cannot get out of bed in this state. I've still not been given my apparently washed and dried clothing and a towel so that I can get showered and dressed and decent. I don't have access to heat styling tools, despite my texture of hair. I don't have access to cosmetics to cover my ugly face and lesions. I don't have access to jewellery to try and look and feel more feminine. I don't have access to comfortable shoes. I've only got the shoes I came in, which is a pair of M&S boots. I don't have access to the majority of my belongings, including my folders, my books, my passport. I live in constant paranoia that they are rooting through my belongings and ripping and damaging things. The few products that the Pathfinder got me on Monday morning or afternoon are all still in the property, in the building. Not been able to make any use of them. Foods of choice, i.e. fresh fruit and dried fruits. And they know that I am unwell. They know that I am physically undeveloped. They know that I hate how I look. And they've further pushed me into a situation where I can't even have a little bit of autonomy over how I look, i.e. use cosmetics or straighten my hair or wear clothing to cover up the fact that I'm completely flat-chested, or go for a walk in the local park area, or go into a supermarket and purchase food of choice, albeit within a really strict budget. They've taken away the limited freedoms I had to start with. I'm not a privileged, healthy, white, attractive, supported, employed, loved, accepted, normal, liberated woman to begin with. I'm already oppressed and marginalised and bullied and unattractive and hated and diseased and unsupported and impoverished and unemployed and trapped and living, or rather existing, in constant fear and distress and paranoia. And then on top of already suffering these things, I happen to be visibly different. So they've used each and every one of my shortcomings against me. And they've detained me in a psychiatric hospital, knowing full well that I don't have any family or close friends or strong support network to come and get me out. Why have they done this? What are they gaining from this? I don't have any privileges or advantages whatsoever. I've tried my utmost to find the little few positives and things to be grateful for throughout this entire ordeal over the last few days. I've been gracious and kind and cooperative and tolerant and communicative with the staff and other patients. I've eaten the food they've given me. I've even eaten food that one of the other patients ordered by takeaway, because quite frankly, the food here is not the best. That's all I'm going to say. But as a human being, you have to fuel yourself with food. So I've eaten what I've had access to. I'm not good at cooking myself as it is, so I accept what is given. Believe it or not, despite my complaining currently, I'm actually an incredibly grateful and tolerant person. But at the end of the day, I can't come and go as I please here. I don't have any freedoms as it is. The majority of my belongings, as I've just mentioned, are in the Halls room. There's no telling whether I'm going to be going back there, what's going to happen to my belongings, all of which I've accumulated with struggle. Why am I here? I'm feeling very weak and unwell, but as I keep saying, I'm also trying to be extremely grateful and positive and even find the humour in all of this. Even things like the fact that there's far more lighting in this room and space, actually. There's far more space in this room and lighting. And actually the walls are thicker than, or seemingly thicker than that in the Halls room where I'm paying rent to live. Yes, I've fallen into arrears. Yes, I have struggled extremely to pay even the rent, never mind pay for everything else. But this month, especially because of those 2 interviews, I did prioritise getting a phone and clothing for the interview. All in vain, of course. All a complete waste of time. I'm incredibly grateful for my phone and laptop. However, even that is being given to me with restricted use. They don't allow me to charge the devices in my room. They don't trust me with the cables. They think I'm going to harm myself with it. I feel extremely weak. I don't even have things like, leisure wear or trainers to even do some indoor workout to try and keep fit or try and become fit. Not fit as in attractive, fit as in physically capable of withstanding daily activities of life. 29 years of age, right? Women my age are in their prime. "29 years of age. And I'm the most marginalised 29-year-old I know, as it is. And to add to the injury, they've physically attacked me. They've verbally abused me. And they've detained me in a psychiatric hospital. Less than a week after I turned 29. I am painfully aware, and as so many people have expressed, I don't look my age. That's not my fault. I can't change my genetics. I can't change my ethnicity. I can't change my disabilities. Deal with it. I'm having to deal with it. Why can't they? But to add insult to injury, less than a week after I turned 29, for no valid reasons, they've physically attacked me, arrested me, and brought me into a psychiatric hospital. It may be hilarious to those who find it hilarious because that's their twisted mindset, but to any decent person out there, surely you can agree, this is disgusting. This is a miscarriage of justice. This is completely against my human rights. And this should not be happening to anybody at all. Never mind a law-abiding, conscientious, bill-paying, studious, job-seeking citizen who is just trying to get by each and every day. So please, stand in solidarity and help me. And please ensure that something like this never happens to me or any other good person ever again. I know I'm probably sounding like that's wishful thinking, but I don't know what else to try. They've already taken away my autonomy and agency and voice. I've already been violated and exposed and humiliated in the university. I've already been bullied by various strangers in various settings, in various ways. But as I'm now detained unfairly and wrongly in a psychiatric hospital at age 29, I am begging, asking, praying for justice, for closure, for compensation, for help, for answers, for peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you.